Hey, I'm Molly and welcome to Read the Tea, my YouTube channel where I drink tea and read books and talk about them. So if you like tea and you like books, stick around, hopefully we'll have some fun. I am on my porch again because it is raining and I just really like filming on my porch in the rain. I think it's a good time. I also have my little miniature tea set that I've had since I was a kid. It makes me look like a giant. I'm not that big. This tea set is just really little, but it's really fun. And we are going to be talking today about the book Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. So stick around, it's going to be a great time, and cheers! Okay, so we're talking about Get a Life, Chloe Brown. If you haven't watched one of these videos before, the structure is going to be short little summary, non-spoilers, short little kind of my general thoughts about it, also no spoilers, and then we're going to dive deeper into the book. That's going to have spoilers. I'll give a little warning before the spoilers start, so you can exit or continue watching if you, whatever you choose. It's really up to you. So, without further ado, again, I don't know if I said that already, I might have, but without further ado, we're going to start talking about Get a Life, Chloe Brown. So our story starts with Chloe Brown, the main character, obviously, and Chloe is pretty content in her life. She deals with her chronic pain, but she also loves her cardigans and computers until she gets into a near-death experience and her life flashes before her eyes and she only has one word to describe it: boring. So Chloe sets out to turn her life from ordinary to extraordinary. So she makes a Get a Life list, and on that list is number 1, move out, number 2, enjoy a drunken night out, number 3, ride a motorcycle, number 4, go camping, number 5, have meaningless but thoroughly enjoyable sex, number 6, travel the world with nothing but hand luggage, and number 7, do something bad. So with that list, Chloe is ready to go. The only problem is writing the list is easy, but the execution, Chloe needs a little help. So she enlists the help of the handyman in the building that she moves to, Redford Red Morgan. And you know, he seems like the perfect bad boy to help her get through her list. He rides a motorcycle, he has tattoos. The only problem is that he seems to have a thorough dislike for Chloe. So the question becomes, can Chloe break through this tough exterior and complete her list? You'll find out in Get a Life, Chloe Brown. So yeah, that's my little pitch, summary, synopsis, whatever you want to call it, of Get a Life, Chloe Brown. It's very much a rom-com. There are some spicy scenes. I would say 3.5 out of 5 chili peppers would be my rating. I know everyone has their own, so I don't know, that might not mean anything to anyone else, but that would be my rating of this. But the bonus is the cover doesn't really look that spicy, so you can get away with, you know, reading it in public and everyone just thinks, oh, cute rom-com. But I mean, if you read the back, it's a little more obvious, but it should be fine. Anyways, yeah, I thought this was 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think I would have given it 5 stars, but it just didn't give me that, like, after I finished it, I wasn't like, wow, this was the best book I've ever read, I need to go shout it from the rooftops, I need to reread it 100 times while simultaneously, like, shoving it down all my friends' throats. I didn't get that feeling from it, but everything else, it was like 10s across the board. Great plot, great characters, great banter, which I love, really, really cute, funny, like, everything executed to perfection. It just didn't give me that, like, the wow factor just wasn't there for me, but everything else was there. So 4.5 stars for Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Yeah, I would say if you read Sophie Kinsella, I personally love Sophie Kinsella, she's one of my favorite rom-com authors. Talia Hibbert, I think, might be even better. She's got all the things that I love from Sophie Kinsella. Again, lovable characters, excellent plot, really cute romance. And Talia Hibbert also has diverse characters. She also has a little bit of spice, so if you're looking for something a little more adult, she has that as well. So that's my little kind of pitch to you to get you to read it. And then after this, we're gonna dive a little deeper into Chloe and read. So there's going to be some spoilers coming up. If you don't want spoilers, please leave now. Okay, so Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Some of the things that I absolutely loved about Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and I think just Talia Hibbert in general, whenever there's an author who writes really, really incredible side characters, I feel like that's just a marking of a really great author. If they can make you fall in love with the side characters and have the side characters only be on a few pages, I think that's really incredible. And I honestly would read a book about Vic, Red's friend. I would read a book about Annie, who owns Smudge, or I forget what Smudge's real name is. But yeah, the real owner of Smudge. I would read an entire exposition about Chloe's grandmother Gigi, and I'm also so excited to read the other two Brown sisters books, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and then, okay, I don't know the name of the other one, but it's something Evie Brown. I can't wait to read those, so I'm really excited. I got Take a Hint, Danny Brown already from the library, so that's coming up next. But yeah, really incredible side characters, and obviously really great main characters. I love Chloe and Red. They seem to be the perfect blend of charismatic and complex, because they're really just like the most lovable people on the planet, but they also have obviously like their own trauma and stuff that they're dealing with, and that's all woven really well into the book. So I was surprised that I felt like I could relate so much to Chloe. I also really love to make lists. I write lists for everything, like my daily to-do lists. I have like a bucket list. I have multiple bucket lists. When I make playlists, sometimes I'll like physically write them down if I want to like figure out the order of songs. I have like lists of songs that I like. I bought a book one time that was just called like 52 lists, and it just gives you like different prompts to make lists for each week of the year. It's really fun. But yeah, so I am a big fan of lists, so I adored that Chloe was too. I think that was great. And then I also feel like, I think one of the main parts of the story, or one of the main plot points, is that Chloe has that feeling that I think like everyone has at some point in their lives, of like, what will I leave? Like, what will my legacy be when I leave? And I think that's done in a really beautiful and also kind of simple way through Chloe. And I know, like, I feel like I think about that so much for someone who is only 23 years old. But it's, you could die at any time, which is really cynical and probably not the best thing to think. But it also, thinking that way does help you to live your life to the fullest. So it's kind of fun. And also, as someone who, like, my personality fluctuates between, like, I don't care what anyone thinks about me and I'm gonna do what I want, to, like, I care so much what everyone thinks about me that I, like, physically, like, cannot do anything. And I think Chloe was also a good mix of that too, because she, on the one hand, she writes this list because she really wants to change her life, but on the other hand, she's also, I feel like Chloe's less concerned about what others think about her and is more just like, she's very comfortable doing what she's doing, and she doesn't want to really like push outside of her comfort zone, which again I feel like is like the most relatable feeling in the world. So I really loved Chloe. I thought Chloe was amazing, and I hope she would like my sweater, so I wore it for this video. Oh, and one of the other things that I really love about Chloe is I feel like she's just so strong in her everything. Like I feel like she stands up for herself against bigots. She deals like daily with her chronic pain, and also with people thinking that her chronic pain isn't like a real illness, which I can't even imagine, like feeling that pain and then having someone tell you like that it's not real. And then also just like the courage that she has to try and change her life is just really inspirational. And as someone who's like an avid fantasy reader, it's kind of really refreshing to have a character who shows you that you don't need like a sword or magical powers to be strong and have that kind of strength. So yeah, love you, Chloe. I also really love Red. I think he's like the epitome of like the perfect love interest because he's like the bad boy, tough guy kind of exterior with like a heart of gold. And obviously like he has his own trauma. Oh, and the other thing that I really love is that they have Red go to therapy to kind of like unpack his past trauma, and then the fact that like dealing with his past trauma also helps him in this like current, and like going to help him in his future relationships, and helps him to really like get in touch with his own feelings, and being, and that he's then able to communicate those feelings like to Chloe and kind of like work through how his past trauma is affecting his current relationships. I was like, that's just so refreshing, especially to see that it's like the guy love interest going through that, because I feel like you don't see a lot of men in therapy in books, and you need to, you know, like we love non-toxic masculinity. It's great. So yeah, I really love Red, and I love that he's also an artist. I think that's so, it's just perfect. He really is perfect love interest, great, excellent, like a sweetie. He and Chloe are also just like the cutest and the sweetest people. And I know they're fictional characters, but I want to protect them with my whole entire heart. And the spice in this book too is like, I was not really, I was expecting like maybe some innuendos where it's like dot dot dot, this happens. But there were some really spicy scenes. The scene outside of like the church alley, I think. Yeah, like in public, I was like, oh my god. But it's really well done, and I feel like the spice is never overpowering the plot, which is something that I always look for when I read like books with a little bit of spice. I like when it's incorporated, but not like the main draw, if that makes sense. Again, I would give it 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this book besides it was so well done, and if you love rom-com books, or even if you haven't read a lot of rom-com books but you want to start getting into them, like this is a great place to start. I would classify this as new adult. I'm still not really like sure, I'm not entirely sure what constitutes as new adult and what constitutes as adult. But I would say this is new adult. Chloe's like in her 20s, I think. But yeah, this was a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. Really, really well done. I think Talia Hibbert's gonna be my new like go-to rom-com gal. And I can't wait to see what happens with the other Brown sisters. So get ready, because those will be my next reviews, I think.